Okay, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to see another two useful hooks. One is use memo and another one is use callback. So first we can see about use memo. Use memo is a React hook that let you catch the result of an expensive calculation. That is very important. First one is the catch the result of an expensive calculation and only recalculate it when its dependency changes. So it will do the recalculation if the dependency changes and catch the result of the written result. It will be catched. That is a very two important things about use memo. So real time example can be when you have a search box and there is a list of choices based on the search text and the filter. The below table will be calculated. Okay, so at that time of period, if you use memo, only when the search content and the filtered data changes, it will do the recalculation. Otherwise, the table will remains whenever you call, if the value is same, it returns the same value. It doesn't do the filtering calculation again and again. That is a main example you can see here. So without use memo, so it will re-render or any change or not. If you press the text and if you do something on the such text or something, it will re-render again and again. But if with the use memo, if the value doesn't changes, it returns the result without doing the calculation. That is very important. Okay. So the next one comes here is about initial re-render. So when you do initially you do the function restore the it will execute the function and do the calculation and store the result in memory. So return checks the dependency. If the dependency changes, if changed, it will runs the function again and update the stored value. If the dependency doesn't change, then it returns the cached value. That is the main thing. So if you come here, if you see here, that is a same result in the text window. If I have my laptop as my search value, it will as a first run, it will do the filter with the use memo and store the result in the cache. If I'm increase the cart count, for example, I'm adding into one of item in my cart. At that time also, if without use memo, it will re-render again. It will the filter re-renders again. It if with the reuse memo, it uses the cache result. If you see, if the text content is changed to phone, at that time the filter runs again and catch the result. Only when, based on the data, only when the dependency changes, it will do the recalculation. This is a real-time example when you can use if you want to sort some list of data ascending or descending. If you press ascending itself again and again, you don't want to do the sorting again and again. It will just you can click, but the value will be written the same value again and again. So the it won't do the calculation again and again. It will returns the catched value. So during that time, you can use and calculating statistics, transforming data, calculating when there is no change in data. If you want to calculate the statistics for any metrics, it won't do any change. So something very useful when you do something in the expensive calculations for hundred and millions of data. Use callback. So use memo, memorize the written value. Use callback, returns a cached callback function reference. The function is written only when its dependency change. It helps prevents unnecessary re-render of child components that rely on reference equality. So whenever a dependency change, then only it will go and create the new function. Otherwise, it will share the same reference whenever the function callbacks. So if you see here, you can see the function parent, which is doing a state of count check. Here there is a handle click option. So this is the parent and this is my child button, child on click. So whenever I do the click, okay, the every time the count changes here and a new reference will be done. So, but in this state, my reference will change only, it, because it won't do, so it will return the same function callback. Only console log clicked will be written only when the set count button is clicked, then the value changed. Otherwise the count will not go and change. If we press handle click, it only do that functionality. Okay, that is a main thing about here. It is explained as the product parent product page passes the callback, the child product card. So without use callback new function, each render the product card re-renders every time. With callback, the same function reference product card skips re-renders when props are same. Okay, that is the main difference. You can understand. I can having a code with and without callback. You can understand very clearly with similar counter reference. Okay, so use memo value catches, use callback function reference catches. That's what we can see there how it works. Initially it renders, function is created and stored in memory. When it re-renders, it checks the dependency. If dependencies are same, returns the same function reference catched. It references that function referenced catched, creates a new function and store it for the next renders. Here the example, here there is no return statement or anything, only the function logic based on the dependency it will do. Okay. Okay. So this is the theoretical part. We can see the demo. So this is same dashboard example which I showed in your earlier session. Here for my search change, I have used the callback where on click of on search change, on status change, I have used the event for that. And there is a table to list the incident list. So here for incident filter incident, I have used the use memo, which will return the search. Okay. So when there is a return, mostly in filter data, I have used the use memo. For the on click change event for any event handler, I have used the use callback. Okay, here doesn't have any return value. So, okay, this is one thing. So, when you run, it is already in running state. Where with the callback, if you see here, initially I can even refresh. Initially, both render count will be 1. And if I do any text change in this one, only this search render count will be changing, not the filter render count. If I change in my filter here only this changes, not here. So I'll show your sample when the without callback what it happens. Okay. For status change. I have example for both. As of now, I'm going to show you one. Okay. So now if we go and refresh here, you can see the initial render first it show 1, but if without callback it renders 3. Now if I do any changes here, according to me it should not re-render, but it is rendering here. That is the main thing. Without using use callback, the unnecessary re-render happens for the component. After run, now you can see that if I need changes here, it won't re-render. Yeah, that is the main example that I want to show you here for the use memo and use callback. Yeah, thank you. We can see in the next session.